Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome once again to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works. I have a bunch to talk about today, but first, I want to comment on Big B's video of the day. Now, Big B was doing some motor replacements, and he was talking of TP motors being his favorite go-to motors. There's one thing. Big B has never run a new motor. Or I guess if I was German, it'd be a Neu motor. But Steve's motors are by far the best motors on the planet. Steve goes to great lengths to squeeze every little drop of efficiency out of his motors. And for the most part, when you buy a motor from Steve, you get something that's custom made and hand wound just for you. Anyway, so to Big B, there's absolutely nothing wrong with TP motors. I love them. I have some, but I have more new motors. Let's see, I've got an 1105 in the shrimp boat. I've got an 1105 in the little Budweiser. I've got two 1107s in the micro drifter. I'm setting up this new 22-inch hydro with 1107s. Oh no, I'm putting 1112s in that one. I've got an 1107 in here. And I have a couple of other motors, but the KVs are such that I'm going to need a special application. I've got one motor that will be real good on 6 or 8S, but it's got to be in a small, lightweight bullet of a boat. And then I have another bigger, real high KV that would be best geared, and I would like to use it. I'd like to use it in a drag boat, turning one motor, turning two props, so it'd have to be geared. So that motor, it's a 1505, 1507, 1506. It's a 1506. And then the next size up is 1511. The 15 series are what all the guys are running, the big guys are running on most of their race boats. I think they're even putting the 15 series motor in their 8th scale boats, but I may be wrong on that. I may be wrong. It's been a long time since I looked at them, but I thought they were running the real long 15 series motors. Anyway, I'll put a link to Steve's motors in here. I highly recommend Steve's motors. They're not cheap, but they're handmade in America by Americans who speak English. Anyway, look at him, boys and girls. I did a video yesterday, and for some reason my video cam downloads it as a .mov file and not an MP4, and I can't do anything with the .mov files, and I can't read it, and I can't upload it, and I just had a hell of a time. So my apologies for that. As you notice, I have hardware on the back of the boat, and so we'll talk about that. Yesterday, I told you how I was going to mount it. Today, I've mounted it. If you look inside there, can you see in there? I don't know. Can you look in there? There's a doubler plate. And I made a doubler plate out of G10 fiberglass like this. And what I did was, I know that the spacing of the screws on these mounts are 6 and 8 millimeters respectively. So I made a little drawing, and I cut a piece of G10 that I could put in the mill, and then I milled this, moved the table that way, milled that, came down here, and then moved up and down to mill these. So these holes and these holes are perfectly perpendicular to each other. And then I used that piece as a template to mark the holes here. And then I cut down the top and bottom edges here to fit inside the transom, and that template now becomes my doubler. So I have a rudder. Now, if you notice, my prop shaft is way, way, way out there. The prop on the mini dom is back here somewhere. So I'm going to wind up shortening this a little bit, just so it's not so crazy, stupid long. And with the way this thing is constructed, it's real easy to shorten it. Just shorten the shaft, put another flat on it, shorten the tube, and put it back in. Piece of cake. So there you go. My thoughts for the day. This is moving along nicely. TP motors are good, but don't overlook new motors. These things, new motors, win all the national championships. I shouldn't say that. TP motors do pretty well in those as well. But my preference, new motors. The drawback, new motors are not cheap. But then, neither is a Ferrari. Neither is a Ferrari. Okay, boys and girls, that's all I have for you this morning. Let's hope this video downloads. I clicked some other boxes in the settings, and we'll see what happens. Until next time, jet out.